Hi guys, and welcome back to Quick Tips. The basic behind this particular tip today is high dynamic range imaging. What you're looking at is three different images which will be merged together to create one image. So the idea behind that is to be able to create a photograph that covers a wider spectrum of light values. This is the image that I think would work best for what I'd like to portray today. As you can see, there's three different images which are subjectively the same. This here is Tony, he's a good friend of mine, and the area we're looking at is called Marafa. It is in a place called Malindi, which is about 2.5 hours away from Mombasa, where I live. The aim behind high dynamic range imaging is to have three different photographs or multiple photographs. I'm going to take three as my standard that cover a spectrum of light, highlights, shadows, and midtones. Now the midtones are going to be the most balanced. We have the opportunity of opening these three in Camera RAW and taking a look at the histogram, and find that comparatively you've got more balance on the midtones image or the central image. The image that's covering your highlights is peaking on the highlights, and the image that's covering your shadows is peaking on the shadows. Now, how does high dynamic range imaging work? The idea behind this is to merge all three photographs into one and create an image that you can work with throughout the spectrum of all three images. This works best with RAW images, and I'm working with the dual pixel RAW on the Canon EOS R, which I've seen, or at least from my experience, has a lot more latitude and a lot more range. So before we start with anything, I'm just going to do my very first bit of edit. So this is all the edit I'm going to do. I'm just going to select all three and synchronize. And let's see if that worked okay. That worked okay. So I expect the white balance from my first image, and I think I'm okay with that. Now to create an HDR image, I'm going to select all three, right click and merge to HDR. Camera RAW has a very nice and easy interface to work with, and it automatically aligns these images for me, and I'm just going to merge. So what I'm doing now is this is merging into a DNG file. You can see that it's named DNG. That's a digital negative file, and that's done with the merge. I'm going to leave the exposures alone. I'm going to go down to highlights and pull them all the way down. You can see that I've grabbed that, and I'm going to pull my shadows all the way up just to see how much we can actually pull out without distorting the image and without getting any noise in there. So for reference, this image compared to if we did the same here, there's a bit of noise showing up in the darker areas that I can see visibly over here, as opposed to this image having any noise. What I can see is that the highlights and the shadows are not blowing out. So this is not too bad though as an image itself. I don't mind it too much, but if I look at the sky, you can see that this is completely gone, as opposed to this image here. And I know that if I were to grab a graduated filter and pull it down and work on this even further, I'm pretty sure I could get more detail out of this, just for the sake of referencing what we've got here. So if we were to zoom in here, you can see that were I to do the same, you'd find this is actually blown out. It's gone. There isn't any information left here. So this plays in very well for me because I'm able to pull out a good amount of detail from this image, and I'm comfortable with this as it stands right now before I start working on my continued edits. So my bridge crashed. I'm back again. Just coming back to these images just to see what we had, and that, just so we know what we're looking at. That's our primary image. That's our, sorry, this is our edited image, and these are our merge files, just so that it's easier to understand where we stand with what it looks like once we've post-processed with HDR imaging. If this helped you, just hit the subscribe button, because I'm going to keep going every week, and have a good one.